Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ASL. This is going to be the winner's match, and the first player spawning in the bottom left corner, representing my insanity, is gonna be the red Protoss player, Stardust.
And his opponent across the map in the top right of Overgrowth, representing Global Esports Management and Zerg, it's NesTea. He counts as a representative of Zerg by my reckoning. He's
he's like the prime minister of Earth for Zerg.
he is the prime minister of Earth. That's fair. I cannot argue with that. That's just I just want to introduce him again now, just so we can call him that. The Prime Minister of Earth. It's NesTea.
Damn right. The creator of the universe, man. That's him.
Yeah, he can be whatever he wants to be.
Like, and I like this planet.
Yeah, he's a benevolent god, really. But right now, Stardust is not being a particularly benevolent subject, chucking down that forge, getting ready to probably... Actually, you know what? He's not even doing it yet. He's thinking about it.
But he's like, where's your base, bro? And you know where that base is going to be left? It's going to be at the gold base, actually, here for NesTea. Going right for that gold. And now NesTea's coming out. And it makes me wonder here, because Stardust has not gone into the main to kind of check to see if NesTea is doing some kind of 14-14 or something. He's not really concerned about that because of his opener. So.
Yeah, he just feels good about this. He knows that if it is something like a 14-14, he's got cannons. He can see if it's coming. He is not even mad. And at this point, actually sending that probe back across the map, he's sending it to the gold base because he knows that something isn't right with the timings. He knows that there were no real attempts to expand there, and he's scouted it. He knows what's up.
Yeah, and he sees it. Is he going to go for the... No cannons at all. Going to go and make his probe go to that watchtower, but it will get scouted by this Zergling. Yeah, that probe is not going to be putting down any cannons anytime soon on the other side of the map. But that probably would be for a good reason as well, because NesTea already has his pool done, and his Lings are out onto the map as well. But now, I think that NesTea is able to see at the front that it is a force fast expand, and there's not much that he's going to be able to do off of it, so... Yeah, we're going to just see a kind of standard game for now, except for the fact that NesTea does have the gold as his third, or natural, I guess. And there's different ways to play against it, right? Like when somebody goes for a gold, it means that they're going to be mining out from it a lot sooner than if they took a regular base, but they're going to have a surge of income for less price. However, like, I think... For a Protoss player, I think I've talked about this before, like, just, if you're a Protoss player, you typically won't want to try to all-in to try to punish the gold, like, maybe just a little bit of harass, but if you macro out of it, then your third base and natural are going to mine out a lot later than theirs is, because the gold base takes for, I don't know how long it takes, but a fully saturated gold base mines out pretty fast.
Yeah, and NesTea is working towards that full saturation, of course, getting himself a nice drone count. Actually, not putting that much yet towards his natural kind of third, as it were. But it's all just looking like a very straightforward game at this point. And I don't think I think you're right about the decision not to try and punish it too hard. But at the same time, we do see a Zealot moving out and a Stalker following it up. Probably going to be a Mothership core to accompany that at some point, but I can't find it right now. And that's going to be just, I think, poking and prodding and trying to be as annoying as possible, and basically forcing a couple of units out of NesTea to delay his droning, to be a little bit irritating, and to make him not just have an easy road to macro towards victory.
Yep, and you know what? I like this decision from Stardust to go to the natural, because I feel like as a Zerg player, you think about the gold as the place that you're going to be defending. You're like, all right, let's get ready to defend this gold. Let's do this. But then Stardust goes right up the middle, and there's really nothing here at the natural and the main. There's a few queens. He doesn't have the creep spread to bring anything from his gold base over, or such as queens. I guess he could try to make some Lings, but they don't even have speed yet. So this is going to be pretty annoying for NesTea. Look at how many Lings got forced out.
Yeah, I mean, immediately he's gone for that response and has forced out a ton of lings. Actually, an Oracle swooping in out of the Stargate is going to help deal some extra damage to the drone line as well. So, very much the delay that Stardust needed to counteract his opponent getting a fast goal, to counteract his opponent getting a fast third base, which often happens with the Forge Fast Expand. And Stardust looking pretty good at this point as he gets that Oracle out alive.
Yeah, he's looking amazing.
Third base.
He got, how many? Yeah, 10 kills on the Oracle, and yeah, you said it. The third bait's on the way, so just getting a bit of damage done, and then expanding off of it. And he's going into a very standard-looking build. He got the Robo facility out. I assume that there's going to be a Robo Bay as well. But whoa, never mind. This is not standard at all. Triple Stargate already into that Robo Bay as well. So he's going to be going for a very heavy air-based army. And just go for this is a high-tech army that he's going to be making. 3 Stargates
I like it.
Robo. Yeah.
I like it a lot. Big Stargate plays are one of my favourite things to see out of a Protoss, just because I think it's cool. I like that they kind of bring out this massive firepower, and if anyone tries to engage into it directly, much like Mech, you tend to see an absolute slaughter go down.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Stardust is going for. He already has a gas at his third, because he knows that he's going to be needing a lot of gas for that tech that he's going for. Super heavy tech. Void Ray, though, is going to supply block NesTea. And what is NesTea going to do here? I mean, he's going for Roach Burrow and a bunch of Queens. I feel like he is preparing for, like, an all-in. Or he does want to put on the hurt onto Stardust.
Yeah, that is true, but, you know, you don't really want to be... I don't think you want to try and roach all in into Void Rays. That is...
No.
You need a lot of roaches to make that work, and then you need enough money to make something that can actually kill them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he knows now. Okay, I didn't realize it now. NesTea knows. He sees a triple Stargate and also a Colossus pop out right under that Overseer, and he's like, okay, let's change up the plan just a little bit. Don't think that's going to really work too well. As he does get the infestation pit as well.
Yeah, true. Could be for... I don't think it's... Maybe it's for Hive, actually. I was wondering if it was going to be for Swarm Host, and it might well be for Swarm Host, but it could also be just a lead in towards Hive, and the ability to pull those Colossi and those Voiders into the DPS bulk of the Zerg army. I'm just watching that production tab like a hawk to see which one he goes for.
Yeah, you said that it's... every Protoss's dream for a Zerg army to just run into that death ball and get obliterated, but yeah, like if you think about it, the Vipers, you know, they allow you to kind of pick away at the Protoss army bit by bit until you can finally take the engagement. So, yeah, I think Hive would be a great choice. But he is going to be going for the Swarm Host, and it's an interesting choice. I do like the Infestors, though. The only thing I don't like, of course, is that there's no pathogen glands. He's just going to get them out and build up the energy. Oh, my God, though, the force fields on this whole army. There's not much on the ground, actually, but it is going to be enough with the Void Rays, but he's going to lose a lot. As it is expensive.
I mean, this Colossus is going down, let's face it. It's actually, you know what, it might just... Yeah, it gets out of there. The Void Ray DPS is too strong.
Yeah. Even Queen's just really helping out there. But yeah, that was a lot that was lost there by NesTea, but also a lot of expensive units that were lost by Stardust.
Yeah.
You know? I find it funny, though, because, like, we're talking about this high-tech army, and it's like, oh my god, he lost the high-tech units, but it's like, everything is high-tech, so if he loses anything, it's like, okay, he just lost a bunch of stuff. But,
like, I mean, I've tried to open where you just go like, okay, I'm going to open Void Rays and then go Carriers, and it can work, but it usually doesn't. Yeah. And when you get that kind of just ultra high-tech army where you open high-tech and get higher, it does leave you open to big plays and big attacks. And right now, I don't necessarily think that is what's happening, because we've got a lot of zealot support here, and it's going to be needed for tanking against these swarm hosts. It's going to be required. There's already 6 out on the field, 2 more in production, and we're just going to see increasing durability and survivability coming out of these forces.
Yeah. Look at this creep spread here. Since he took the gold base in NesTea, he's already at this base that Stardust wants to take as his 4th. But he's going to try to push in, and I don't know if that is enough to be able to deal with the Swarm Host, but the Fungals are so good. And a lot of these Queens are going to be able to start picking away at those, but no. Without having that pathogen, and even this that many, doesn't have that much energy on those Infestors. Only enough for maybe 1 each.
It's not really... I mean, if you get a good fungal off, you can end the game right then and there. Just like if you get the perfect storm down on a bio army, and like the guy doesn't remember to split, or he's not able to split for whatever reason, the game is over for that reason. But in this place, that wasn't the perfect fungal. It was a good fungal. If the support had been there, if there'd been a Hydra army right behind it, but it just wasn't the case. And now Stardust is going to start trying to outmaneuver the Swarm host, moving around, picking off creep, trying to fight indirectly instead of directly, because his army is more maneuverable.
Yep. Never underestimate the power of the Queen, though, man. Queens go ham. Except I think Stardust had some really nice force fields there, so the Locusts weren't actually able to participate in that fight. But you know what I like here from Stardust? Is that he did get the Warp Prism speed, and he's going to start harassing a lot with these Warp Prisms, as he is already going into the main of NesTea, but NesTea is going to be taking out the 4th at the same time. How much damage will the Zealots be able to do? That is a nice fungal on a lot of the Zealots, actually.
Yeah, that got pretty much all of them, but I mean, there's only one Infestor there, so that took off shields, yeah. Fungal, not that high DPS, it's main
like a Widowmine hit.
Yeah, kind of, except one of the Zealots would have actually died then. No, it's not really enough there. The army coming in and Stardust's force getting cleaned up, but it was only Zealots, you know. Yeah. At the end of the day, Zealots aren't free, but they're as close to free as Protoss gets when we're talking about non-hallucinated units.
Yeah, I agree. Or look at these Locusts, a lot of those free units that NesTea has, saying that I can do it too. And making it happen, but you know what? These Void Rays are actually uncontested at the moment. This is a lot. There's not a lot here for NesTea. What is he gonna do here? He's just making Corruptors? I don't know, Kev. Corruptors are okay, but they have to go in after the prismatic alignment is done.
Yeah, it's not too hard to bait that out, though, if done correctly. But I guess Stardust, by the same token, is a smart cookie, and he is not going to just let it get baited out. Instead, just opting to harass around with both ends of the map, trying to use those Zealots as best he can in the main base, while the Void Rays maneuver and posture towards the 3rd. And if they run head-on into that Queen Force, they might be in trouble, because there's a lot of transfuses in there. But instead, just picking off one Spore Crawler at a time, they can handle that. That is a fight that a Void Ray can win.
And here he goes. He's NesTea going in with the Corruptors. Yeah, really nice fungal growth to hold him in place, but the Queens aren't there still. I don't know why. Yeah, he tried to go in with those Corruptors, but they're just really not that great against the Void Rays, especially because they do have the +1, and Corruptors don't even have any upgrades at the moment. Yeah. And luckily for him, he did not have any that prismatic alignment ready, but uh-oh, here goes the lair. And you know what's important about losing this lair? That it goes down. No more Hive at the moment on the way. So he's not going to be able to get any Vipers forever. That's going to take so long until he gets Vipers out.
That's a pretty big deal, and immediately in response to that, we see that fleet beacon coming down from Stardust. He goes, okay, it's time. I can now safely head towards Carrier, towards Tempest, towards even Mothership, because it can't be pulled. It can't be pulled out of my control and just one-shot by the Zerg army, which is what always happens to Motherships every single time. You watch any pro game, you see the Mothership, and you know it's got about a minute on the battlefield.
Great monument just has been constructed, and everyone is surrounded with their cameras to see it, and then...
Yeah, and then it just gets pushed over, just pushed straight over, and Stardust is just moving totally out of position. He's actually running straight in a gap between the creep. That's going to be so useful if he decided to kite back against the Queens. That combined with the fact that the Swarm hosts are a little bit out of position, and you basically see Stardust fighting two halves of the army at once. That's actually a bit of a timing attack for him, or a timing window.
It is, especially at that window that is in between these two patches of creep. This is really good, though. Though. These Void Rays are just uncontested. That's the big story here. There's not enough in the air here for NesTea. He's making 24 meters. He's just going through the Zerg air tech tree, which is a whole whopping 2 units, as he does try to go ahead and deal with these Void Rays. And, you know, is it going to be enough? They don't really have the upgrades to contest. They do have +1, but, yeah.
+1 is a pretty big deal on the Void Ray. It has 2 ticks per second. That is a lot of damage being brought to bear out of that. And just shredding the Mutas. The Mutas that were made in desperation by NesTea have been killed off so quickly because they trickled in their dribs and drabs, and now a counterattack of Swarm hosts moving into the natural, ripping through the front wall. And we're actually seeing Phoenixes being made by Stardust, getting himself ready to deal with any more Mutas, not taking any chances on that front.
Yeah. He was thinking in his head that if that was a lot more Mutas, like, you know, it would have been pretty bad. But you know what? The Swarm hosts are going to go ahead and face check the Nexus at the bottom. Going to go down now, finally. And there's really not much here. Not even any detection to deal with them. So a lot of the tech of Stardust might go down. But still the Void Rays. Oh, are flying into Spore Crawlers. Whoa. It's
not enough Spore Crawlers. No, not enough Spore Crawlers, say the Void Rays. You should have brought 12 and positioned them directly under me, and it's still not going to be enough.
Not at all. This is like a little bit of a base trade, and I say a little bit of one because on Stardust side of the map, I mean, yeah, stuff is going down, but it's really his army that he has is just way too strong. GG will be called.
Okay, folks, we are back, jumping into the second game of these two players playing it out in the finals match of Group B ASL Prime round of 32. In the top right-hand corner, in the blue, representing Global Esports Management and Zerg, it is NesTea, the Prime Minister of Earth.
Yes, look at that. His opponent, just a nearby tourist floating in the atmosphere. It is going to be that by insanity representative, the teal Stardust.
Just drifting in from space, as Stardust tends to do.
Exactly.
And hopefully not making a mess.
Yeah.
The last thing you'd want is some invading alien particles coming in, messing up our atmosphere.
Who's done polluting my atmosphere?
Yeah.
It's like, Prime Minister. It's like, Prime Minister, that's not your job. That's a janitor's job. Don't worry about it, man. Chill out.
No! If I don't do it, no one will.
If you need something done right, you gotta do it myself.
Yeah,
that's what he's gonna try to do, right? He's gonna try to clean the Stardust out of his game because he does want to advance over to that round of 16. So NesTea, the Prime Minister janitor. He's like that, you know, the good guy. You know, when you think about people that never forget their origins or anything like that, they get big and never forget the little man. They will pick up that piece of trash that's on the ground and recycle it, even though they've already made it big or anything. They could hire somebody to do it, but no, he does it himself. That's NesTea for you.
Although arguably, if you hire someone to do it, you're stimulating the economy, so that may actually be the greater good.
True.
I'm just gonna throw that out there, but I mean, I understand the point you are trying to make. I'm just derailing it slightly. Stardust gonna get himself Gateway, and
everything now, man. I'm just gonna hire people to do everything for me now, man. I'm stimulating the economy, son.
Exactly. Alright, so NesTea going for a pretty standard opening, going, I believe, hatch, pool, hatch, and Stardust not trying for any cannon shenanigans this time, going for gateway opening into Nexus, into that Zealot, with a follow-up sentry actually, so it's looking like a more defensive kind of style out of him, or perhaps just a faster third, and he wants to have those defenses up. In the spawns they're in, it does kind of make sense to get the sentry count up, because, you know, he can defend from the direction, but Stardust doesn't know that where his opponent is at this point.
Yeah, he actually just is gonna be doing his own thing. He got his Nexus up, so he's gonna be getting whatever piece of tech that he would like to get next. NesTea, though, he knows he has that Overlord who was able to see the expansion and then just move back. So unless the probe saw it somehow, then yeah, Stardust has no idea, and I don't think he actually did. We'll see, of course, by the first probe that he sends out onto the map. But the Ling coming, he may have actually given it away just a bit. But you know what? If two Lings come from two different sides, then sometimes you can't really make that. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you can't make that judgment and say, like, okay, he definitely came from there because the first Ling came from here. But maybe these programmers are that good that they just know.
Yeah, they can feel it. But as it stands, Stardust with that fast third base, pretty good plan on this map. It is the big macro map of the season, getting an incredibly quick one down. And I love it, just getting that kind of 6-minute third base. That we saw that towards the end of Wings of Liberty, and it's been a sort of demi-meta since that point, because it crops up occasionally, and people go, that is an early third, and then the game is always a little bit different, a little bit interesting. So we might see a very quick fourth out of NesTea as well.
This is crazy. Yeah, I was going to say, because Stardust is doing this off of pretty much no tech. Yeah, does he have... He doesn't have any tech at all, and he doesn't even know where Nest... Well, now he knows where NesTea is, as he does send a hallucinated Phoenix, but he had no idea if NesTea was doing some kind of crazy, aggressive play. He's just gonna go for it, assumes that NesTea is gonna be playing really greedy on this map. As you said, one of the biggest maps in the map pool, if not the biggest. I know Deadwing may be a little bit bigger, but, you know, Deadwing is a quote-unquote 3-player map, while this is a 4-player map. So he may be more inclined to go for a macro build than on Deadwing. So,
well, I like that. Just as a kind of a way of going for. I like to see people play macro, and obviously when Stardust in his games versus Terran, he did the exact opposite of macro.
Yeah, he didn't
so
go.
To see him bring it out a bit is good. I like a bit of variety.
There's a lot of sentries coming out of here left, and NesTea is going for Ling Hydra. But this is a big gateway attack coming that's going to hit before the Hydras are ready. But NesTea doesn't even have any spine crawlers. He just has a bunch of speedlings, which are pretty much useless with some good force fields.
Yes.
See them.
That is in fact 11 sentries.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a bare minimum of 11 force fields. And probably slightly more than 11 force fields, considering some of those have been built for quite a long time. So these sentries are actually now generating DPS that is almost noticeable to the Zerg units, and they are probably going to start trying to do something about this. Force fields going down behind, the Hydras are going to trap them where the Zealots can get to them. That's exactly what Stardust wants, and he's pushing towards this third base. Now, this isn't even an all-in. He hasn't done this. To kill his opponent necessarily. He's just trying to do good damage, make sure that NesTea is in a bad spot. But with the sick macro that Stardust has pulled out, he is able to just pour units into this and keep NesTea as far back as possible. Stardust's economy is twice as good, but he's up by nearly 12 workers. That is a big deal.
He has that third. Yeah, the fact that he has that third while he's doing this, that was really patient play from Stardust, as he hit at a really nice time, moved back, put the force field down, got a few, and just killed off a few of the Hydras. And now that the range is done, the force fields aren't going to be as effective. But that was all during the time where there was no groove spines for the Hydras. So the force fields were pretty much like force fielding roaches, and the Hydras weren't able to actually do any damage. Going to be a little bit different now, though.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of them. Well, they're trying to, certainly. They're just being walled out, realistically. Like, every single time we see a force field come down, denying that Zerg entrance, stopping any kind of useful attack actually coming down out of NesTea, losing that Mothership Core, actually. That's a pretty big deal for Stardust. But even so, it's just Zergling reinforcements. Zerglings and a couple of Hydras. And the more Warpins we see coming out of Stardust, the more convincing this looks. The force field's keeping the Hydras out now. 6 more Stalkers walked in for defense. And finally, Stardust is beginning to throw down some tech. He made a Robo-Bay a minute ago. Sorry, now building his Robo-Bay, made a robotics facility a minute ago, just got his Twilight Council. So this whole game he's just been macroing, and he didn't even build Blink, anything but a gateway unit.
Yeah.
And that's it, that's all he needs.
That's
GG.
it. GG.